Hey y'all, what's going on? It's your boy Mike. So, just got home from the gym, good workout. Just had a little dessert, kind of switched things up a little bit. I decided to have some plain Greek yogurt with some PB2 powder and some peanut butter. Switch it up. Tastes pretty good. But kind of just to get straight to the point of the video, a lot of you guys may have heard of this guy named Sam Sulek. Some of you guys may, if you're more of like Instagram savvy or TikTok savvy. Some of you guys may not have heard of him, but a relatively young guy. He just competed in a bodybuilding show. I think it was on Saturday, and it actually got him qualified to go for another show, which actually got him qualified to become a professional bodybuilder, like actual your pro card and all that fun stuff. One of the things I want to talk about is his cardio routine, and just to kind of say, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for the average Joe or Jane. Doesn't make sense for people who are like intermediate in the gym, things like that. And short answer, yes, it actually makes a lot of sense. Long answer, he has like 4 different things that he was talking about in one of his videos, and he was saying do cardio before you lift, do cardio after you lift, do cardio first thing in the morning, and kind of separate your cardio versus your lifting. And the fourth aspect, they says most people don't follow, most people do, which I agree, is don't do cardio at all. And so it's like he was kind of breaking things down. So the first thing that I agree with him with is most people don't do enough cardio. Do your cardio. Again, I'm guilty of this too. Like there are times I neglect my cardio. I'm like, oh, I got this to do. I'm going to neglect my cardio. And when I say neglect my cardio, I mean like the more long duration cardio. Before I do any lifting, I always do a 10-minute warm-up, whether it's on the bike, whether it's on the elliptical, whether it's the treadmill. I personally don't consider that cardio for me. I consider it more of a warm-up. Now, again, it is cardio, but it's not the cardio that I'm talking about for my list particularly. But one of the things that he said is that people don't do enough cardio at all. And cardio is more than just, shredding a couple pounds so you can look good for the summer, or you look good in this dress for someone's wedding, or whatever it is. Cardio is so important for your heart health, for your endurance, for your breathing. It's just so much. Your heart is your most important muscle. It's great to have big biceps, but if your heart craps out on you, it don't matter how big your biceps are. You know what I mean? Do your cardio, work out, get your butt moving. That's the most important thing that he says in his videos. And I've seen a couple of his videos, and he is one of the biggest proponents of cardio that I've seen, particularly for a bodybuilder. I'm like, it's pretty impressive because he's a big guy. And he's like, do your cardio. He's always doing cardio, which I'm like, respect. I respect that. That's awesome. So, most important thing that I agree with is that do your cardio. Another thing that he said is, should you do your cardio before you work out? And he was kind of giving some reasons why you should, why you shouldn't. And some things that he was saying why you shouldn't is that it's going to burn you out for your workouts. It's going to burn you out for your lifting. So with this, I agree, but I slightly disagree at the same time. The reason why I agree is because if you're doing a lot of high intensity cardio, if your focus is cardio and you try to lift, you're not going to be able to give as much intensity with your lifts because you're going to be too tired from your cardio. Particularly if you're doing like a lot of long duration cardio, you'll be too tired from your cardio to actually get the lifting in. Now, some people actually do that on purpose. I've actually met a couple people at the gym that do a lot more long duration cardio before their lifts to kind of work on their endurance. But that works for some people, not for other people. For people that it works with and you're good with that, do it. Do what works the best for you because everyone has a slightly different routine, so do what works best for you. This also goes into play whenever you're talking about like periodization and doing sport specific training. For instance, sprinters, they need to run. They need to run heavy and hard. However, they also need to do weightlifting. So prioritize what you're supposed to be training for that day. If you're a runner and if it's a running day, do your running first and then do your weights as an accessory exercise. If it's vice versa, if you're trying to work on your power, your speed, and things of that nature, do your lifting first and then do your cardio afterwards. So that way you're prioritizing what you need to prioritize at that time. So I agree and disagree with what he was saying in regards to doing, cardio before your workouts. Again, sometimes it's needed, sometimes it's not, but depends on what your sport is, why you're doing what you're doing. Again, he's speaking from a bodybuilder perspective. I'm speaking from more of like just like a general health, just a general activity perspective. So slightly different perspectives, but the information is still the same. So you can look at something from left side, from the right side. The information can still pertain to everybody. Another thing that he said is doing your lifting, like doing your lifts first, and then do your cardio. Does that work? Now, for me personally, that's how I do it. Because I want to, my main thing is getting my lifts in, and then I do my cardio afterwards. Because again, you have to work your heart. You have to get that good pump in. You have to, make sure you're feeling good. It's also a way to kind of test your endurance. Your physical and your mental endurance. One of the reasons why he says that he doesn't like to do it is because he's too tired after lifting to focus on his cardio the way that he wants to. And I definitely respect that, because he lifts hard, he trains hard. With his lifting, with his cardio, he trains extremely hard. If he didn't, he wouldn't have the body that he has. He wouldn't have just won his first show. Now a lot of people say, oh, he's on steroids, that's why he won, that's why he's. Most people don't know what steroids do, to be honest. And it doesn't matter how many steroids that you're on. If you don't have the work ethic, it doesn't matter. You can have all the building blocks for a building. You can have all the clay, all the wood, all the nails, all the hammers. But if you're not working to put that building up, the building is not going to go anywhere. And to be honest, it's also based off his genetics. So he's a very gifted person. He's very, as some people say, he's very lucky, because he has the knowledge, he has the experience, he has the genetics, but he also has that work ethic that actually built the body that he's on. So I respect, the work that he's put in. But again, he trains very, very hard, and he puts more effort into his lifting when it's time to lift. He puts a lot more effort in the lift when it's time to lift compared to his cardio. So he's like, I don't want to do my cardio after I lift because I'll be too tired, and I'll do a disservice to myself to do my cardio after my lifting. And that makes sense, because again, it's like after a long day of work, the last thing people want to do is go to the gym. So imagine, for my healthcare workers who work 12-hour shifts, you go to the gym and you lift for an hour. You're tired from work. You're tired from your patients. Then you lift for an hour. And then someone tells you got to do 20 or 30 minutes of cardio after that. You be looking at me like I got 3 heads. You're like, ain't no way I'm doing this. No. So the fatigue is real. So when he said that, I was like, this actually makes a lot of sense, because you want to put as much effort into it as you possibly can. One of the fourth position that he took was trying to split your workouts up. Try to do your cardio in the morning, and then do your weights in the afternoon, your afternoon, evening, so on and so forth. Why I agree and disagree with this. The reason why I agree is because I've tried this before. It actually works very, very well. They're able to put a lot more effort, a lot more emphasis where it needs to go. First thing in the morning, you're able to get a lot of cardio in. You're feeling good. You're still relatively fresh. So it's like, okay, I feel good. You can give it the attention that it needs to. You don't have that post-work fatigue, that post-lift fatigue that will limit your overall cardio output. That will stop you mentally, emotionally from doing your cardio. And then you're able to, you do your cardio in the morning, a couple hours, wherever. If it's, if you work a traditional 9 to 5, you do your cardio first thing in the morning, work your regular day, have like a little snack, before you go to the gym, then go to the gym, and your muscles are still fresh for your lift. So you're able to give the attention where it deserves. You're not diverting your attention. You're not, neglecting one or the other because you're too tired from your day or from the previous activity, whether you do your cardio first and then you're lifting, or you're lifting first and then your cardio. You're not neglecting either one of those because you kind of separated those things. So I agree with that. That works very, very well. One of the things I used to do is I used to do my cardio and my ab work in the morning, and then I would lift in the evening when I had the time. This is where I disagree with him, because not everyone has the time to be able to separate everything. People have extremely busy lives. Some people don't even have time to work out for 30 minutes. So how am I going to split up my cardio and my lifting if I don't even have 30 minutes to work out? Now, we can get into time management a little bit later on, but for the sake of this part right here, again, if you don't have time to do both, if you don't have time to say, oh, I'm going to do this in the morning and this at night, because people work crazy hour shifts. As a CNA, I work 12-hour shifts. As a rehab tech and as a physical therapy assistant, I work 10-hour shifts. And I also work 12 days in a row. I work 12 days on, 2 days off. So there are times where I'm just like, mentally, I don't have it. And then I have school at night. So it's like, do I have the ability to work 12 days in a row, do my schoolwork at night? No, I still lift. So I'm working, I lift, come home, eat, shower, then do homework. And depends on the day, I'm doing homework until 3, 4, 5 in the morning. So I'm gonna get an hour of sleep and then do cardio and then go back to work. I don't have time for that. And that's just for me. There are people who work 12-hour shifts, so their time is even more crunched. People who have families, people who have particularly young kids who have to make sure that they're getting on the bus on time, make sure they're getting their homework done. So balancing a busy parent's life with making sure your kids are getting up on time, making sure that they're getting on the bus, make sure they have their lunch, make sure that your partner, if you're married or have a live-in, whatever, make sure that they're getting their stuff on time, making sure that you have your lunch, making sure that you're going to work on time, dealing with traffic, getting home, cooking dinner, all those things. The time is very valuable. Time is of the essence. So sometimes people they don't have the time for that. So I disagree with splitting up your time if you don't have the time available. Because sometimes people are like, I don't have time for this, how am I going to do 2 workouts? And that's where it becomes more of like a good idea. It becomes more like a mental and emotional hindrance for people, because people just start to what's the word I'm looking for? Ruminate, or I'll figure it out. But people just start to mull over what they can't do because someone said, no, this is a good idea. But some people find the challenge and say, I'm going to make this work. Some people are like, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. And again, it's person dependent. Depends on what you want, what you have time available for. Because again, like I said, I admit not everyone has time to do 2 workouts at a day. Now, sometimes people do have time. They just have to work on time management a little bit better. And that's the thing too. Because originally I heard something called time blindness. I'm like, is this a real thing? So I want to look into that a little bit more. It's pretty much whenever someone just not paying attention to time and time just kind of flies by. So I was like, okay, I can kind of understand it, but I'm not sure if it's like actually a real thing or more of an excuse. But again, I'm not knowledgeable about that. I can do some more research and try to figure that part out. But sometimes people just need to organize their time. Because if you don't organize your time, just like if you don't organize your money, you're going to spend all your time doing whatever you have no clue where it went. Just like your money. You spend a little dollar here, spend a little dollar there, spend a little dollar there. The next thing you know, your credit card balance is up $200. Same thing with your time. It's like, okay, I'm gonna watch this TikTok. 1 turns into 3, turns into 5, turns into 10, or whatever. You're 10 minutes down the hole, Or if you're like, oh, I'm just gonna watch this show, and the show gets really, really good. And this happened to me last week. I was watching the show. I didn't do any homework, or I didn't have any extra homework. My bad. Finished my homework, I was watching the show. I'm like, yo, this is a good show. I'm almost done with the season. I have 2 episodes left. They're 20-minute episodes. Hey, I'm almost there. Finished it, and it was a cliffhanger. It's like, dang, I gotta start the next show. So it happens to the best of us. Again, I'm no saint. I'm no perfect person. I make my mistakes too. Again, this happened to me last week. So just knowing how to better organize your time. And some people will say, put everything down in a calendar. The time you wake up, the time you eat, the time you cook, everything that you can think of that you do in a day, put it in a calendar. And that way you're not letting those little time leaks kind of sneak on by you. Now, that works, but it's also extremely tedious. So you have to figure out what works the best for you. Now, if you're that meticulous and you can stick by it, hey, you're a better person than I am. I'll admit it. That ain't me. Do I have things on my calendar? Oh yeah, my calendar has all sorts of different things in it. But do I have every single hour of every single day listed? No, I do not. And again, that could possibly be why I have no occasional time slips. It's like no time slip here, time slip there, and time starts going by. Again, it can happen. But that is one way to kind of help mitigate those little time slips that you have. So for people who don't know where the time is going, try that. Try to track your time. Track how long different things take. That's why I say, whenever you're working out, write down the exercise that you do, how long it takes you, so you have a general idea of if you need to alter something, what you need to alter, what you need to take out. Or if you have 2 hours and you know that, okay, my workouts typically take an hour, but it takes like 15 minutes to get this place, 15 minutes to get this place, you know how to alter your workouts so you can, continue to get your pump in, continue to get your cardio in, but you're also being respectful of the other time constraints that you have. So pay attention to the time that you have so you can optimize it to get what you need done when you need to get done. Those are some of the 4 things that he said. I'm like, okay, this makes a lot of sense. And again, I never met the guy. I know of him, and I respect the things that he says in regards to cardio. Like, again, working in a hospital, seeing people have open heart surgeries and vascular issues, and people who are extremely overweight, and people who can't move without support. It makes me respect cardio that much more. It makes me respect walking and mobility that much more. Am I saying I'm going to run a marathon? No. Y'all see my videos. I'm done running marathons unless something crazy happens and I decide to start running again. Your boy is good on that. But do I respect the abilities that my body has? Yes. I respect my body. I respect the abilities that my body has. Am I where I want to be? No. Am I further than where I could be? Oh yeah. So I respect what my body can do. So Sam, I doubt that you'll ever see this, but congratulations on just winning your show. Keep pushing forward. Keep up the cardio message. I really like how he said that. Optimally, in an optimal world, if you can do everything perfect, try to split things up. Try to do your cardio in the morning and your lifting at night, or vice versa. That way you can give each activity the respect that it deserves and the attention that it deserves, so you can get the optimal results that you're looking for. If you're not able to do that, then alter your cardio and your weightlifting. That way it goes with what your main purpose is. If you're trying to focus on strength, do your lifting first and then do your cardio afterwards. That way you're not sacrificing your endurance. No, you're not sacrificing your strength for your endurance. If you're more of a cardio athlete, my cyclists, my biker, my runners, my rowers, so on and so forth, if that is more your jam, then typically do your cardio first and then do your weightlifting. That way you're not sacrificing, one for the other. Now again, depends on how you or your coach works the periodization for different things. Because again, there are times where if you're following a specific sport with a coach for a team or something like that, or you're trying to compete for something, they'll kind of like adjust your periodization. They'll adjust your training schedules, the weights, the reps, the sets, the days that you're working out, so on and so forth, so that you can optimize yourself whenever you're going to compete on whatever stage that you're on. So that does determine, if you should that's another determinant of if you should do your cardio first or if you should do your weight first, is the sport or the activity that you're aiming for. Now, if you're not aiming for a particular sport or activity, you're just trying to be as optimal and as healthy as you can, play around, try both, see what you like. Sometimes you need to switch things up. But step 4 that he said that I believe is not an option is just skipping cardio. You have to get your cardio in. Even if it's 5 minutes, even if you don't have time for anything else, do some cardio. Your heart is the most important muscle that you have. Again, if your heart gives out, doesn't matter how big your biceps are. Doesn't matter how big your quads are. Doesn't matter what your V taper looks like. Doesn't matter how sexy your back looks. Doesn't matter, particularly for my ladies, how big your glutes are. If you look like you got a BBL, if it's all natural, it don't matter if your heart gives out. Because there are plenty of people whose bodies look amazing, but the insides are completely shot. There are plenty of people who are walking around with hypertension, but they look perfectly fine. It doesn't matter how good you look on the outside if the inside is crap. Just like a car. It doesn't matter if it looks like a Ferrari, if it has a Metro Geo engine, and the inside looks like who did it and what for. It don't matter. So if you have to sacrifice anything, sacrifice your lifting for your cardio, because you have to work your cardio. You have to work your heart, the most important muscle in your body. All right. So again, just want to chop it up with you guys a little bit. See if I agree with Sam's cardio advice. If I do, if I don't. Long story short, I agree with his cardio advice. Get it in when you can, where you can, how you can. Keep making those gains. But until next time, later.